guys, welcome back again to Procurement with myself, Lerato. Today, while I sip on this tea, I need to give you some real tea on why procurement cancels tenders. If you've ever asked yourself that question, today I'm going to let you in on this. Stay tuned. First things first, why procurement cancels tenders. There are different reasons why there's tender cancellation, and I think a lot of people don't understand why. It's probably important for me to do this video just to get you to be aware and for you to get to know, after working so hard, paying sometimes for people to come and help you prepare the tender, and you're really hoping that I'm gonna get it, and guess what? Procurement says, sorry, this tender is cancelled, and sometimes even worse, you don't get re-invited. How hectic. So I want to tell you guys the reasons. There are a number of reasons. I'm just going to talk about the most common ones, because I think it's important for all of us to know why procurement cancels tenders. First things first, right, is there are times when tenders get cancelled because firstly, there's no budget. There's not enough budget. The tender was sent out to the market, but when you really check, we underestimate it. Sometimes as procurement and the businesses, they send out tenders, they're thinking as how much it's gonna cost, blah blah blah, and then the responses come back when all the bids are here, and they're thinking, damn, what forecasting method did I use? What budgeting method did I use? How did I not see this? Because obviously prices change over time, market change over time, technology changes over time, a lot of things change. Sometimes versions change, some of the things get outdated, they're just no longer in the market, and there's product replacement. There's just new things always happening. So it does happen that procurement teams and buying organizations do underestimate the cost, and when that response comes back, you're realizing, shucks, I should have budgeted better. So that's the number one reason. Number two, there is irregularity in the process. So, this one is proper tea. Sometimes, guys, let's be honest, there are irregularities in the process. And irregularities is, firstly, a tender is supposed to be fair. It's supposed to be good governance. And then you could find that someone had a privilege of something that they were not supposed to, or someone spoke outside of the process, or someone breached the non-disclosure agreement. Remember, as the internal team, when you're working on a tender, you sign the NDAs, and it does happen that, unfortunately, others do say stuff they shouldn't say at the wrong places, and some people hear stuff they're not supposed to hear, and it lands in the wrong ears, and that now starts becoming a bit shaky. So now when audit comes, and there's auditor general, and there's things they're asking for, the process becomes flawed, right? And sometimes what causes the process to be flawed is also, the fact that you did not apply the right principle, or do not apply the right regulation in awarding the tender, or the process that you followed. Probably, let's say for government, right, they need to publicly make tenders available, and someone may, honestly, people are people, we are all human, someone decided not to publicize and maybe just advertise to a selected few, or it just gets advertised in their website, and it never reached the people. Or sometimes, guys, it's a lot of variables. My gosh, there are days when a tender is advertised short period of time, and the public can actually contest and say, Aibo, why was this thing only advertised 7 days for this much? And because of those type of things, and now there's audit involved, and now there's policies, and now there's checking, and then there's so many things involved. So those are other irregular things. You guys want that other tea, but hey, I'm gonna give it to you. And then there's obviously when there is issues of corruption happening, fraud happening, there's a lot of things happening, someone saying stuff, so those irregular stuff. Okay, that's what it is. Another reason that I put down here is business requirements change. Look, guys, the nature of things, nothing is ever static in life. There's no one way of doing things, one way of business requirements change, and unfortunately that's what it is. We live in a VUCA world. VUCA world means volatility, uncertainty. So it's just sometimes you can't just keep up. So so sorry. Business does change, the requirements do change, and the current scope may not be fit for purpose anymore. Like I said, because of product upgrades, changes and stuff, yeah, you get to a point where like, this is not gonna work. Probably someone who scoped this thing was many years ago, and I'll give another example. If a company is maybe in a particular, is rendering a service for that company for some time, right? A service provider. It does happen that the technical team accustoms to that type of service and they start speccing it accordingly. That IP doesn't belong to them, right? So the service provider can come and complain and say, hey, bo, this equipment it's actually specced according to me. Let's make an example about CCTV and security. If one company has built the systems on how the CCTV works in the company and how the remote controls and stuff works, the control room and the technology behind it, and have been there for maybe 15 years or 20, all of a sudden now there's a tender and procurement wants to replace that company and go and check competitive market and bid and stuff. And guess what? The technical people, some of them are gonna use that base as a technical spec. And the very same company can come and complain and say, Aibo, this is my IP. How are you going to spec my IP and sending it out there for people to come and tender? Another reason why tenders get cancelled. It does happen, Uguti, sometimes the specification that goes out is only for one person. That happens a lot also, right? Meaning one company can only respond because this is so curated, it's so specific, it's too perfect just to fit that one. Do you get me? So those are the things that, when you start to evaluate thinking, why Muhanama responses, why we're not getting bids? People did not respond, or whoever that tries to respond, they give you a different spec. So let's make a wild example. Let's say I'm using a Canon camera to record, right? And I want a camera, and I'm gonna spec each and everything Canon EOS M50 Mark II does. And now, I'm not saying Canon, I'm not saying Mark 50 M2, I'm not saying nothing, but I'm speccing it the way it's supposed to work. And then I'm sending a tender out. Guess what? Who's gonna respond? It's so fit for purpose, only Canon can do that. Other companies can't. And now when evaluating and thinking, man, why are we getting something opposite? It's close, but it's not the same. It's not. So it cannot be one company can meet those requirements that clear. And sometimes when you go to know ways, you need to cancel this tender because it was not fair. Remember the principles of running a tender process. It needs to be fair. It needs to be equitable. It needs to be a right governance. It needs to be transparent. Do you get me? So as long as the person can meet those requirements, you might as well restart the process. Okay. Another reason why tenders get cancelled, guys, the validity period would have ended. Every tender comes with a validity period. So it happens, let's say after you've submitted your bids, it says this tender is valid for 90 days or 120 days. And then that means by then the probabilities that you were supposed to finish the process, awarded the contract and the letter, and then get a PO. So because of things happening, guys, the world being the world what it is, tomorrow is not confirmed and things are happening, and the tender is delayed and too many parties involved, it goes back to a regular thing. It's just taking too long to award and it's way over the validity period. Sometimes the tender does get cancelled for that reason. Okay, so you really have to understand these things, that it's not personal. Yeah, but when a tender is cancelled, the one thing I can show you, it is not personal. Don't think as a service provider, yeah, ngiyazile ukuthi vele bafuna that one. I knew it. I knew they were going to whoa, chill, calm down. It's not personal. There are lots of variables of what constitutes a tender to be cancelled, and I'm here to let you guys know so that you are aware. The reason why, the quality of bids. Yeah, I spoke about this actually on my social media platform. Please, if you don't follow me, do follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Lerato Sebad, right? So this one, guys, it's quite tricky. It's also important. The quality of bids received from suppliers are substandard, poor quality response. Firstly, what constitutes a poor tender response is a service provider that is bidding but does not propose. They're just responding. They took the tender document in Java, copy and paste, and they provided a price, and that's it. You're not proposing nothing. You're not telling us what the methodology is. You're not telling us nothing. So you have to provide some sense of why we must appoint you. Do you get me? And then two, our documents it's all over. No one knows what's happening. You just can't make sense of this. and then pricing is not priced correctly, things are missing. It's just someone who was just not prepared. Can you imagine a student who is just studying and they're required to do an EXCO presentation? You can get the gap, right? So sometimes it becomes those things that we're not getting what you asked for. We can't even try and a short list to those that at least we know they can come and give us something good, and therefore we're going to cancel this tender. Okay? And sometimes, guys, tenders get cancelled. Another reason, because it's just genuine human error, mistakes. Mistakes happen. We are people. Someone decided to, whoever that the practitioner was working on that RFP, they did not mention the right, let me say, closing date, time, information that's there is not correlating. What B is saying is not matching with page banbani. Listen, we're human people. People are just humans. There's human error. Things are happening. So if it's that complicated, you're getting queries left, right, and center from different providers, you might as well recall that tender and cancel it. Now, what you need to know that is important quickly is after a tender is cancelled, what do you need to do when it gets reissued? No matter how many times a tender can get cancelled, you need to consistently respond each time they re-advertise. Because the time ukatala, you guys know that is it a joke that you can dig and dig and dig, that metaphor actually. And when you get to your breakthrough, Katelo, William move, and you are literally that day, you don't want to be that person. So I'm speaking, guys, from experience when we've re-invited suppliers that was number one, maybe on multiple occasions when you're looking at the bid, but because of these many reasons I'm mentioning and others, the tender gets cancelled. Of course, people are gonna get tired and they won't now again respond, because naturally that time is the time that you were supposed to win, and that time it's serious. Because also sometimes, guys, leadership also is they also impact a lot of things. There could be leadership changes, process changes. You guys don't know, as a service provider who's out there, and those internal politics and those internal things happening, you're not privy to. So when, as long as this thing is sent out, if you need capacity to continuously respond, until they give you a decline letter that you did not make it and someone else is awarded, then okay, cool. But unfortunately, guys, it does happen. People at the last end, they decide you are deciding to throw in the towel before you were gonna be awarded a tender. So don't be that person. I advise you to please continuously tender until something else happens. Anyhow, if you guys know more other tenders that you've experienced that you feel like reasons, please do comment down below. If this video really has helped you, do like, subscribe, and share. Right? Yes, please subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. And then like and share the video. Comment down below. I really love to hear the reasons that you were told, and if you want me to assist you, or you want me to clarify some things, you can inbox me or email me on info@roigroup.co.za. Guys, it was so lovely having this conversation, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.